Can you tell me just your name and your position in the organization?
JD Johnson. I am the Director of Football Operations for the University of Idaho football team.
Can you just tell me a little bit about your background, kind of like where you're from, where you went to college, what your degree was in, and
Sure.
kind of like the jobs you've had?
Grew up in Colorado, attended University of Northern Colorado for my undergrad. My degree was journalism, mass communications, with an emphasis in advertising and marketing.
Then a little bit of work background. Just like
Work
where you worked
background,
before.
been basically coaching college football for the most part for 22 years
Nice.
at a variety of levels.
All right. So the director of football operations. Can you just kind of tell me a little bit of what that entails?
Basically, in like a brief layman's term, it's kind of the right-hand man to the head coach, handle all the administrative duties that go along with the football program, including travel, budget, and just basically a liaison between the football program and the university.
Nice. So how do you kind of see yourself as a leader in the organization, and like adding on to that, like how do you feel, or how important do you feel that leadership is in a football program or an athletic department in general?
Well, first of all, leadership is important in any endeavor you take in your career and in working. I also feel that my leadership role is a little bit different than probably most. I tend to, in this position, you almost are a morale booster for the rest of the staff, since you are the go-between the head coach and the program, as well as with the players. You interact with every player on a daily basis. You interact with every assistant coach on a daily basis. So sometimes I feel like I can kind of get our head coach's message through a little bit better at times.
So something we've kind of been learning about a little bit in this course is the above average effect. It's kind of selective memory on your leadership ability or things that you've experienced in the past. You tend to remember the good things and forget the bad. Have you ever had the above average effect kind of affect your leadership abilities in any way, in in your past positions or in this position?
Currently, with me just new to the role here at Idaho, not so much yet. Hopefully, I don't really experience that. In the past, I have, and because sometimes it's easy to focus on the positives and not the negatives, which is a good leadership style to lead forward, but also it can be detrimental to a department or a program or a team if you continuously overlook the fine details of things. Um, I mean, that's how you make corrections and improve yourself moving forward. So yes, I have in the past, and it has kind of bit you in the tail end at times. But I think the best way to achieve success through leadership is to make sure you're on top of the fine details.
So kind of another thing I've kind of been reading about or learning in this course is kind of the mission state problem. It's more or less having a mission statement for your organization that a leader talks about, and they have posted all over the place, but they don't really kind of emphasize it. And it's not like in the espoused beliefs of the employees. Um, Kind of for the University of Idaho football program, we have the Vandal Creed. Could you just kind of touch on what that is, the aspects of it?
Yeah, the Vandal Creed. It's a simplified statement, a series of statements basically for the team to live by every day. I will choose character. I will hit and hustle. I will know what to do. I will care about my teammates. I will display courage.
And do you kind of feel that we are kind of going through that mission state problem as an organization, or do you think we do a pretty good job of kind of instilling that in our players in our program?
I think we do a decent job. I think we could be more consistent with hitting all of the five statements. We do emphasize I will choose character on a very consistent basis, which, I mean, it is the number one statement listed, so I feel that we do a good job with that. I think we could really embrace the entire creed and be more consistent throughout from top to bottom in the program.
Another thing we've been kind of learning about is the role theory, and that kind of explaining that it's a person's role in an organization kind of has an impact on their attitude or their self-worth within the organization. In your position with people that work under you, do kind of delegate certain roles because of that theory? And if so, like, do you think an increase in role kind of makes people work more diligently and are more engaged with that role in the organization?
Yes, I do delegate. I find when you do delegate, and it doesn't have to be big jobs, but small ones sometimes, uh, your employees or the people you're working with, your peers will feel more engaged. They'll take more ownership within the job they're doing, but also just more feel like a more valued member of the program and the team. It tends to create a better morale and overall better workspace.
So something we kind of had to do earlier or last week in the class, we had to take a little inventory or survey about how much our level of narcissism that we have. Um, so narcissism can kind of be a hindrance to a group or a team, but it can also be used as like a helpful trait because followers are more likely to follow a leader if they have more self confidence. In your opinion, do you believe that it does take a certain level of narcissism in order to be a good leader?
I could see where that would be effective. I believe self confidence is a major quality for a leadership role, but not to mistaken it with an ego and have too big of an ego. I think you want to be able to lead and guide your team to success, um, and lead by example as well. I think that helps build a stronger team. Also comes to mind for me like to be a stoic leader, especially in times of adversity for your team. That'll allow them to have somebody to believe in, and guide them through the murky waters that sometimes hit um, teams or programs or businesses. But yeah, I mean, you have to have a self-confident leader, and sometimes that does come with an air of arrogance with it.
All right. Well, I thank you for your opinions and your insights. Thank you for your time. Thanks everybody else for watching.